Good evening and welcome to Mount Vernon City School District work session. Today is December the 2nd, 2025. Please stand for the pledge. Roll call, please.
Trustee Brown. Present. Trustee Kelly. Trustee McDonough. Present. Trustee Middleton. Trustee Peterson.
Present.
Trustee Scott. Present. Trustee White. VP Mitchell. And President Maribel.
Present. Please note that VP Mitchell is ill tonight, so that's why he's not here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you.
Greetings, President Maribel, trustees, cabinet, and members of the community. We have two presentations for this work session tonight. Our first presentation will be conducted by Dr. Gail White, Director of Pre-K, who will discuss the district's pre-K program. You will hear information about the end-of-year data from last school year, beginning of the year data for this school year, and the plan of action to improve student outcomes for pre-K. So without further ado, Dr. Gail White.
Good evening, everyone. Hello, trustees. Hello to my fellow cabinet members and to our community members, our parents, our families, our students, and all of our stakeholders in the city of Mount Vernon. Thank you for having me today. It is always a pleasure to be able to share some of the amazing work that's happening here in the Mount Vernon City School District. And what makes it even more special is it's our youngest and smallest learners. Now, they may be small in stature and low number in age, but the way they are growing and achieving by leaps and bounds is bigger than most people could ever imagine. So let's talk a little bit about pre-K. Our model, as many people know, is pre-K knowledge is the pathway to college. Yes, and we're going to talk a little bit today about how pre-kindergarten enrollment, statistics, and learning lead to creating a foundation for students to make it all the way to college successfully and beyond. We're going to start with our instructional pillars for this academic year. We're going to tie this to what we're currently doing in our pre-kindergarten classrooms as well as in our pre-kindergarten homes. We have the Mount Vernon Shines acronym. This acronym exemplifies all of the attributes that we should see within a classroom. Student-centered excellence, which we'll talk about today, high-quality instruction and innovation, inclusive community and culture, nurturing partnerships, excellence through financial stewardship, sustainable operations and systems. So what we have here are three pictures from this academic school year. Take a look at Mount Vernon Shines in action. First, we have Miss Elena Lupo, who is our social worker, doing a social emotional lesson with the entire class. Did you know that every single pre-K classroom, both in our traditional schools and in our community-based organizations, implement a research-based social emotional curriculum that is taught to each and every single student? It is called Second Step. Our second is what we call student-led and student-centered learning, utilizing our technology in a smartboard to show how to categorize sounds and make compound words. Lastly, you see a read aloud by Ms. Shields at the Traphagen Elementary School, giving students a read aloud in a variety of voices and putting students through instruction of a directed reading activity. So why are all of these things important? Because they are directly linked to the 2025-2026 academic goals for our district. Dr. Strickland and our instructional team, as well as cabinet, have come together to set the barometer for learning and increases by percentages. But how do we increase percentages on grades 3 and 8? We can't wait till 3rd grade. We can't wait till 6th grade. These increases start in the foundation of our pre-K classrooms, which is why we have labeled this slide Foundation First. Students who attend our pre-K program outperform their counterparts by 30% on our local and regional assessments. Yes, 30%. And I know somebody's gonna ask me about, well, how many of those students are staying with us? Last academic year to this academic year, we've had an attrition of 24 students that have left the district. That attrition has been due to moving, and we had 3 students that did attend private school. So pre-K has set our own goals. End of year 2025, 85% of our students will have letter naming mastery. 81% of our students had mastery in letter sound correspondence. 45% of our students were sent to kindergarten with mastery of single-digit addition and subtraction. 60% of our students were engaged in leveled reading through guided reading. 60% of our students mastered pre-primer sight words, and 70% of our students showed knowledge and content on our kindergarten pre-assessment. Last year, we struggled with mathematics. I talked about that in last year's data. So with the help of my partner, Dr. Satish Jagnandan, we put forth a very stringent strategy and foundational-based math program for our students, and we showed growth of over 40%. This started by 1, looking at the data, 2, matching the strategies for the students, then meeting with each and every teacher, providing them with professional development, and completing focused mathematic walkthroughs to make sure that they were implementing instruction as prescribed. And this is what you get. These are the types of results. So how many students are engaging in this type of specific prescribed database learning? This year, our full-day enrollment is 282 students, as we have lost classrooms due to the closing of 3 schools. We currently have 8 sites, 6 in-district schools, and 2 community-based organizations. Our community-based organizations are chosen not only by their ability to provide instruction, but also by location. We do know that Lincoln School does not have a pre-K as well as homeschool. We have lost the pre-K there, so FFT is in the perfect geographical place to provide those students with instruction. We also know that we lost Mount Vernon Leadership. Hamilton does not have space at this time for pre-K, nor Grimes. Therefore, the Our Lady of Victory School geographically speaks to addressing the needs of those students in those zoned areas. Total number of classes is 16. Ms. LaJuan White can attest to our enrollment data. We have a 0 waiting list for pre-K right now. However, in pre-K 3, we have 280 students that are on a wait list waiting for placement. These numbers, I know, could be staggering for pre-K 3 waitlist, but fiscally, we have to be fiscally responsible, and the state is only providing us with $6,348 per student, and at the cost of providing instruction to students, we have to figure out fiscally how we can add additional pre-K 3 classes. Our other demographic data, 19 students are in our general education classes in least restrictive environment, receiving related services only, and 6 students are currently in the referral process. 51 of our students are identified in ENL, and this is the language breakdown. I'm very happy to say that our staff provides support in most of these languages. We have a teacher that translates in Portuguese for us. We have a Haitian and French Creole staff member that provides translation for parent-teacher conferences, meetings, both virtually and in person. And we also have staff, Spanish-speaking staff member in all but 1 school. We do have a parent that will help us with Albanian. We do not have support in Macedonian and Arabic right now, but we are utilizing Southern Westchester BOCES translation services to make sure that all parents are able to access information as well as through the use of technology. Parents, very important. This is our cycle of learning. This is how we create this strong foundation. Family and parent involvement. Each and every month, we provide a family workshop. We just had our STEAM workshop. It was attended by 30 families. We had a fantastic time, and we are now recruiting for our alphabetic knowledge and literacy workshop for January. Social emotional support. Students receive individual, group, counseling, as well as whole group instruction from our social workers. And the social workers and myself also push into classrooms and push into homes and provide referrals as necessary. As per the new New York State briefs, we are ensuring that there's collaborative culminating projects and performances and celebrations. Board members, mark your calendar. Are y'all writing this down? December 18th. I don't see y'all writing. Write it now, December 18th. Make sure you stop by a pre-K class because we have our major family project. You know what it is? It's Polar Express Day. You got to shimmy for it. The parents and the kids are going to build trains where they sit inside of them and construct them to engage in a Polar Express Day. We have Polar Express stations, cookies, bells, the golden ticket. We're watching the movie. They're coming in the pajamas, and they have to use their knowledge of shapes to construct a train car. So pop on by one of our classrooms to come and enjoy Polar Express Day in pre-K. And of course, we have trips and cooking and all other experiences. Special shout out to Brian Simmons and the CTE program, partnering with Feeding Westchester, where we are giving cooking lessons to kids and families every other month, as well as providing them with groceries. So how did we get at these numbers for data? Because I'm supposed to be talking about data today for the foundation. When students come into pre-K, it's a little bit different. We begin the school-home partnership from day one. Before they set foot in any class, they meet with me and the teachers. We give every student the mandated New York State screener. This allows us to assess for any developmental delays or any precursors to special education. Every student has this assessment done before entering school. We also do a social history on every single student, identifying needs we may have that may fester in the beginning of the year and providing support for the parents. This is what your developmental screening data look like for this academic year. 200 students screened okay, which means they've met their developmental milestones. 22 are rescreened, which means they didn't do so well in about 2 to 3 competencies, and 19 students screened refer, which means they scored severely low in the 20th percentile for their benchmark. So what do we do with that? Do we leave it? No. The parents are there, so we discuss with the parents the findings. Within the first 4 weeks of school, we meet with every single parent on the refer and rescreen, and we put a plan together. And then we retest and rescreen 6 weeks after that as a part of the student's academic plan. Areas of deficiency, nobody should be surprised. Look what the good old iPad did. Fine motor skills and speech and language, the lowest competencies for all of our students. Students speaking, using a pencil, drawing, using a crayon. They could swipe well. They can swipe, or swipe to the left, swipe to the right, go on Instagram, scroll. They know how to scroll. These kids know how to scroll. But it's the using of the writing tools and strengthening the hand strength we notice is a big deficiency. Also, speech and language with the number of words and sentences that they should be speaking at this developmental stage. So what are we doing in pre-K? We have fine motor-based data groups. We also have special language-based activities, choral repetition on the rug, and staff student center time discussions. That means when they're playing once a week, a staff member needs to be in the center and talk to them about what they're doing. And students have to talk back and answer questions. Our second and our last assessment we're going to talk about is your traditional diagnostic instructional assessment. We here in the district use CIRCLE, which is CLI Engage. It comes out of Texas, and these are our beginning of the year competencies. This is where we are. 56% in rapid vocabulary, 56% in rapid letter naming. Not horrible. The competencies that we really are going to drill down to is at 16%, which is rote counting, 18% syllabication, rhyming, and number counting and number discrimination. Those are some of our areas of foci across all of the schools. This next slide compares the 2025 BOY, which is this year in the white, to last year's BOY. So you can see there's not really a big difference between the two cohorts when they are entering school. So we know what to do with them. Because last academic year, we were able to raise the bar over 40% over the 10 months then students are with us. How are we going to raise the bar from here? Using Dr. Strickland's Gems of Instruction. Take a look at that. What you're looking at right now is our weapon. It is what we use to move students. It's data-based small groups. All students in pre-K are placed in data-based small groups. Here we have Pennington School, we have Williams School, we have Mandela School. And you can see students working in their groups. You know what's even more fantastic? That top left picture is a teaching assistant providing instruction to students. And if you look at the paper, they're taking anecdotal notes about student proficiency as they work with their students in their group. And in the bottom left corner, you have parents learning and setting goals in parent-teacher conferences for their students for the first and second, for the second marking period. On the right, you have Ms. Herbster at the good old Edward Williams School, my school that I started teaching here, coupling fine motor with mathematic activities. Instead of having students merely count, they're using clothespins to pick up pom-poms to strengthen their hands, as well as reinforce one-to-one correspondence. How do we do this? It's right in front of you. So we're going to take a second to pause from the PowerPoint, and I'd like all the board members to look at the handouts behind the PowerPoint presentation. So the first handout you have is just a sample. I just picked any teacher. A sample of the data-based beginning of the year planning that each teacher does. Each teacher meets with me in a small group of 2 or 3 to construct their groups, what they're going to teach, the lessons, the activities, and the frequency. So what you're looking at is a teacher's planning. She might have a fine motor group, her class might not need it. We identify the days, and we identify the staff members who are going to support the instruction and the activities. So I'm going to stop for 30 seconds and let you take a look at that. Teachers are going to do this complete this document for the middle of the year also. Do understand that even though we've only been working through this document for the last 3 weeks, we're already moving students across groups. And that's the beauty of this small group instruction. We're able to move students as they're progressing and give them what they need to make sure that they are meeting their individual benchmarks. There's another document behind there to tie everything in. professional development. So we've identified what we needed to do. So each teacher during our professional development day engaged in a PD on how to create engaging, data-based, hands-on centers. So it's not like it's playtime. So what you're seeing is the result of their professional development, because you go to PD to have a plan for our children, and we want to make it concrete. So what you have in front of you is a sample of one teacher's action plan that they created with the adjustments that they're going to make in their classroom. My job is to make sure that I'm in classrooms every single week to make sure that the plans, the small group instruction is occurring, the quality of the instruction is occurring, and those items that are identified in the action plan are actually happening. This is how we're going to move our students. These are our basic areas of focus this year, and our solutions are to the right. These are what we just reviewed, just to give you a sample of the documents. All teachers have a data binder in pre-K. All teaching assistants have a data binder in pre-K because they are teaching assistants, they are partners. Students do not know the difference. They don't know that Miss Wayne is a TA. They know that's their teacher. That's what they know, because everybody is working in tandem together. Parent-school goals are an integral part. At our first marking period, we do not do report cards for pre-K and first marking period, but all of the parents are given their color-coded student data pieces from CLI Engage. They look at their child's artifacts from their student work, and with the teacher, they create goals for the next marking period. We take that goal sheet for the second marking period parent-teacher conference and measure student growth, and then plan again for the third marking period. Here is a sample of those centers that you may see written there. We have to the left, that is, I can know the classroom, that is Rebecca Turner, and they are doing the letter F, and they are doing movement to letter F sounds and words. We are doing fine motors, for we're going to create these picture frames for their letter, their special letter, which may be the first letter of their name or a letter they need to work on. And then we have the building for our PBL days. Last but not least, we've talked about the how. Here we have our goals. 80% of our students kindergarten ready and above. That is the goal. That is non-negotiable. And I need everyone to understand that kindergarten ready moves beyond ABCs and mathematics. Kindergarten ready means they can put their coat on themselves. They can open their lunchbox themselves. They can talk. They can express their needs. They know how to be a good friend and participate in their classroom community. That is just as important for us as the ABCs. And here you have some other pictures. A lot of our students took trips for our community helper to the library. That's a trip at the library that they did last week, getting the students library cards, getting the students to read, as well as you see some students writing already. Look at those students at Rebecca Turner, writing the sight word of the week already. And that picture, I think I took it 2 weeks ago. And then we have the wonderful Miss Kellogg also working with students. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the pre-K plan for this academic year. It is my goal to make sure that we make the barometer. It is also my goal to work with Dr. Strickland to advocate for additional funding so we can add additional pre-K3 classes to our CBOs, as well as make sure we have equitable distribution of classes in all of our zoned areas for schools. And that is my presentation for today.
Thank you, Dr. White Wallace. Do
Questions?
we have any questions? Our ex officio member?
Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hi there.
Hi.
I'd like to say thank you for the detailed presentation. It was very insightful. I saw a lot and was quite interesting. And with that, I actually wrote some stuff based on your presentation. Specifically,
Can we turn the volume up on these microphones, please? Thank you.
um, okay. Anyways, hello. Well, that works. Okay. So, as the student trustee, I recognize how critical early learning is to long-term student success, and I appreciate that that the goals and the data that were shared this evening. And I have a few questions. First, I noticed that the areas such as the fine motor skills and language developments shows um, deficient, you know, areas there, and during the early years. So my question is, what additional support or instructional strategies will be put in place there this year to help close these early gaps before students enter kindergarten?
Perfect. Great question. Kudos to you. So, always, just as the Shines format, we would use three prongs, right? Partnership, parents, and student centered. So the partnership is great news. We are getting Mount Vernon Basics back on the road. So Mount Vernon Basics is going to play, and I don't want to get into that as a presentation, but Mount Vernon Basics through the MBK grant will focus on getting students school ready, 0 to 3. So putting in hopefully about 8 workshops between January and June, identifying babies 0 to 3 and working with parents, doing workshops and pushing in to begin supporting that work around fine motor, sensory, and language development. So that's the partnership. Also partnering with WJCS in that work, as well as some other outside agencies. Second of all, when we talk about the parent partnership, it's providing parents with the support and opportunities to understand how important it is to talk to children. Raise your hand. Okay, we're gonna go to church real quick, okay? I need you to testify if you walk down the street and the kid's in the stroller with an iPad or a phone. If you see that, raise your hand. Or you are going to the supermarket and you notice that the mom is on the phone with the earbuds, or the dad or the auntie and the grandma, and the parent and the kids just walking around. If you see that, raise your hand and testify.
Running around.
Right? So we're not talking to our children enough. I don't think we talk to each other enough, right? So if we don't use the muscle, if we don't use the skill, what happens to it? It doesn't develop. So having conversations with parents, when we did our STEAM workshop 3 weeks ago, we talked to them about how STEAM and math is every day. When you're in the supermarket, can you count these apples for me? Can you do that? Or when you're walking with your child, identifying, oh my God, I see a machine. Do you see a machine around there? Or you're learning the letter O. Letter O is the letter for us next week. Do you see things that start with the sound? Just developing parents and reminding them how important it is to talk to children. And within the classroom, creating opportunities for students to talk to each other, which is why centers are so important, as well as answering and asking questions when they're on the rug. So those are the ways that we're going to support that. Fine motor, we are going to have more activities with writing their name, using broken crayons, using things like coloring with Q-tips, using clothespins, and having very targeted activities for students to use their hands to increase the dexterity.
first, you mentioned the MBK grant. There's oh, okay. Also, I also agree with you. Honestly, the generation we are always on our phones, and even we can't even read or write scriptive, which is kind of needed, and we can't even read the independent the what's called wow, it slipped my mind. But in general, what you said actually makes sense. And also, I'm just going to say my last question about this presentation. So, secondly, the data shows that students who attended pre-K outperform students who don't by more than 30%, which is, am I right?
Yes, correct.
At this same time, there is over 280 students on the pre-K waiting list. Okay, so what step is the district taking to extend access to so that more students, children can benefit from these early learning opportunities?
So we have two ways that we're going to support. One is advocate for additional funding at the state level. So Universal Pre-K is a state-funded program. The district does supplement with some general funds, but we know those funds are very limited. We are very all aware of our fiscal obligations and issues that we are having right now, but also creating partnerships. So once I've exhausted my list of pre-K 3, my job is to go in the community and create partnerships. So I've placed 30 students at FSW in the new FSW building near Williams, also sending students to the Mount Vernon daycare on 2nd Avenue, and just making sure that I connect parents to other places so that they can get instruction. There is no way that we're going to be able to provide 380 students with pre-K 3. It's not feasible, it's not realistic, it's a high cost basis. It takes a lot of staff for 3-year-olds, it's a different ratio, as well as the facilities needs for those students. So we have to also pour back into our community. So also making those partnerships. I have a list of all 89, there are 89 daycares in Mount Vernon. Did you guys know that? There are 89 daycares that I've looked up, and I have them on a mailing list. And if I need to, I will reach out to them. And when we begin the 0 to 3 push, we will reach out to them, as well as I'm going tomorrow to the Mount Vernon network meeting to also talk about other opportunities for those students that are on the wait list.
So in the process, wouldn't those days carers lose their jobs, or are you trying to add them to?
No, I'm trying to give them students.
Oh, okay, I understand.
Trying to give them students.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Other questions?
More questions? Trustee Peterson?
More of a comment because, Dr. White, I have watched my own children since you've been the director of our pre-K program here in Mount Vernon, gone through it and having substitute taught in some of your classrooms. And I have watched you just every year, year by year by year, just grow the pre-K. It's one of the most amazing pre-Ks I feel personally here in the county, here in the state. And to see how you kind of revamped after during COVID, the program, and you really, that's the focus on fine motor skills. I've seen it. I talk to everybody, so my kids talk to everybody too. But you're right. There are just certain things that our children have lost due to technology. But I love that you are, putting that back in the program, putting that back in the curriculum, and it's definitely working. So kudos to you.
Thank you so much.
I love
Thank
the pre-K
you.
program.
Thank you so much.
And thank you to the pre-K staff as well. Let's give them a round of applause as well.
Listen, I tell people I am the least important person. I am the least important person. My staff are the most important people, and my parents are right there next to them. But they do all the work. They're up at nights. They're sending me emails. They make deadlines. I get lesson plans every Monday, and I'm reading them. And I walk in classrooms, and they make magic happen. Like literally, I think it, and they color it. Like they bring it along. I'm like, I think I want to do this. They're like, Doc, we could do that. I said, all right, let's do it. And there is no boundary. there is no boundary for our students. So they are my TAs, my teachers, my social workers. Shout out to them out there paving the way every day, beating down doors. We're going 2 houses tomorrow. 2 houses tomorrow. If I have to set up a calm down corner in your house, I'm gonna get a beanbag and I'm gonna set up a calm down corner in your house. And they're like right there with me. So definitely shout out to them and shout out to everybody out here for all of the support over the years. Some of you have been on this journey with me when we had 60 something half day kids to moving at one point to 428 full day kids. So it has been a journey over these 7 years, and it's a pleasure to hone it and change it and mold it and move with the times and be able to support the work of Dr. Jagnandan and Mary Beth Rhodes on the upper grade levels and Dr. Doggett and Brian Simmons, because you're not gonna have a CTE program without some smart pre-K kids or kids at the STEAM passing the STEAM test if my kids don't do what they need to do. So it's definitely a pleasure and it's an honor to do this ministry.
Trustee Brown? Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I would like to also echo Trustee Peterson's sentiments. My daughter went through that pre-K3 and pre-K4 program, and it was amazing. I remember that word of the day, and it wasn't like, cat, dog. It was like anonymous, and it was like crazy words. And my family would say, "Where's she going to school?" And I'm like, Mount Vernon City School District, and she's attending the pre-K3, pre-K4 program. And I could see the progression. I could see that early learning has set her on a really good trajectory while she's a fifth grader. And it's just continuing with her. And so when new parents that I meet who come to Mount Vernon and they're like, I don't know where to put my kid in, I go, well, Mount Vernon has an amazing universal pre-K3, pre-K4 program. So that speaks to, your leadership and the people you're molding, because it definitely has made an impact and other people have noticed it. And so I'm always shaking my pom-poms when it comes to that. So amazing work, and I appreciate you and
Thank you.
anything that we could do, to help. And thank you for the invite, because I will be at Polar Express in my pajamas, popping in on a school or two. But yeah, I'm excited, and to see where it's gone, it's really nice. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Trustee Scott?
Thank you very much. Great presentation.
Thank you.
I love the spirit. I can listen to you for a long time.
I didn't come with props because Dr. Doggett said I'm supposed to be short. I was going to bring my
short.
puppet today, but I didn't bring my puppets today.
But it's great to see what you presented today. And one of the things that you said here, I can recall when my kids were growing up, we used to say, I spy. I don't even know if they still do that, right? Where you in the community, you say, I spy, whatever, and then they have to look for it and things like that, which help them in terms of their learning.
Can you just
But-
use your microphone?
You can't hear me? But the family involvement piece, being a social worker, anytime I see home visits and workshops and counseling and things like that, I just want to hear more about that piece of the work. So can you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. So every month we have an activity that families can participate in. An interesting piece of data, I tried to do an in-person workshop, 3 people signed up, which really shows the shift, right? Before I could pack a house for family game night, but it was like, no, like I was feeding them and everything. So I've just learned that the shift, I need to do everything virtual, right? So just parents work, I get it. So every month we do something different. So we're gearing up for language and literacy. We'll have math coming up. We do a paint and lit, like paint and sip event based on a book. It's actually a social emotional book, Elmer. You probably know that book. So we do a social emotional lesson. We paint. It's beautiful. And we also do the cooking classes. We do STEAM. This year, based on the social histories that we received, we did a how to get your child ready for school routines workshop also, because that was very important. I've got parents telling me their kids on iPad 6 hours a day, 5 hours a day, 8 hours a day. And I appreciate the honesty, because then I can work with that, right? How many kids are not potty trained? I do that too. We do that too. I just bought, if you check my bills, I just bought 7 potty watches. If you didn't know, those are a thing. We potty training children. We're helping parents with that because they are coming to kindergarten and not potty trained, by the way. That's another stat, but that's a conversation for another time. So the social emotional part are all of those things, like getting them developed. We do make house visits, one when I don't see a kid, when the attendance is sketchy. So that's 2 visits tomorrow. But I also do set up at home. Sometimes parents are having a hard time with children. They may need a calm down corner at home or a different setup or something like that. So we'll do that. And then we do parenting classes, not till the winter. And in the spring, we do parent academies on Saturdays. It's a 3-week commitment.
Thank you very much.
Trustee McDonough?
Thank you so much for this, and congratulations on the success. That bump
Thank
in the
you.
math is fantastic, and I'm sure we're going to hear more about it. And I apologize if you've said these things already. I'm hoping I'm not causing you to talk again about things you said. But 282 students enrolled. What's the split between pre-K 3 and pre-K 4 for that?
So we only have 2 pre-K 3 classes, so 30 of those students.
Pre-K 3. Okay.
I lied, sorry, 36. 18 plus 18 is 36, yes.
Okay. And you mentioned the state aid portion of the tuition. Is it a 10-month program?
10-month program, pre-K 4 is like 8,400 per student allocation, and pre-K 3 is like 6,300. The full allotment is 3.9 mil if we max out at 413 kids. We can't max out our allocation. We don't have the physical space for that. Even if I got a whole bunch of classrooms, right? We wouldn't be able to max out our allocation. So the allocation is prorated per student based on the number of students that you serve.
What's the actual cost per student for a 10-month program?
Depending on the teacher salary, it could be
Yeah, ballpark.
13, 12,000.
13. Still,
Could be about-
that's pretty reasonable given what you guys have to do. That's not a lot of money. And you mentioned, so the parent training piece or the parent workshop piece, you said 30 attended last month.
The last one, yes.
Last month. Is that about typical? You get
That's about typical. That's like my max, especially on virtual, because getting 50 people on Zoom is just, it's ineffective. So we try to do 30.
Yeah.
And if we get a big outpouring of parents, we'll do the workshop twice, but also the materials are pricey. So
Yeah.
we have to cap it.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Well, thank you. I think that's all the questions, and I would also like to add that Dr. Gail White Wallace is a proud graduate of Mount Vernon High School.
1997. Woo!
Thank you, Dr. White.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Ms. Jessica Graves, Associate Superintendent for Human Resources, who will give an update on the Human Resources Department. In her presentation, you will hear updates regarding staff vacancies, attendance, human resource initiatives, and events. So without further ado, Ms. Graves.
Okay. Good evening, President Maribel, trustees, cabinet members, and the City of Mount Vernon community. I want to give a brief update on some of the initiatives that the Office of Human Resources is working on and some data points that was requested. Oh, thanks. Thank you. Okay. So, yes. Okay. It's not clicking over. Excuse me. Okay. And just the next, okay, one more slide and then one more after that. Oh, I did. Okay, thank you. All right, sorry about that. So in front of you right now is the 2025 vacancy report. It's starting from the month of July. So as of July 2025, there was 138 vacancies district-wide, and we have decreased from then. We are not currently at the number that we want to be. Right now, it's 49 vacancies. That is consistent of certified and classified staff. So that's just some numbers for you as we're trying to work through the summer and the fall of what the vacancies throughout the district look like. The next slide will show exactly the titles that we're looking to fill. So there is a need, first and foremost, for special education teachers at the elementary and high school level that we're currently recruiting for. We also have a need for speech and language pathologists, biology teachers, and the list goes down from there. On the classified side, we are looking for a district treasurer, a payroll and benefits manager, security monitors, lunch monitors, and senior clerks. So interviews are currently being held for, I know, the payroll and benefits manager and the district treasurer. Lunch monitors are an ongoing thing, and senior clerks that we're trying to staff each department in the district and across the district. Of course, there is a focus on the certified staff, but we also need classified staff to support our buildings. It's just, okay. I was requested to provide the record of absences for the district across the whole. Next to each title, you'll see a number. That is the number of staff per title, and then the number under each title represents personal and sick days. This data is as of November 7th, 2025. So it just gives you a snapshot of some of the needs of our employees that, you know, when they need to be out for whatever reason. Now this is the slide that is most important, some of the initiatives that we are working on to build morale in the district. We are trying to build a recognition board of employees that will be dedicated to honoring staff throughout the district. This will be across union groups and just employees in general. The next part is affinity groups. We're looking to build connections between staff that share similarity, whatever that may be, whatever that they could build connections with and support each other. I think that's much needed in today's times. There is also a focus on professional development, of course, on the certified side, but also for our classified staff, there is a request for additional training with workshops, software, so all of us can progress in our careers and build ourselves professionally. Lastly, we're designing stay interviews. We know some reasons why people leave the district in an X interview, but what are some factors that are keeping people here year after year? What do they value about the district? How can we improve on that as a district to make sure that we keep people here longer than the average 3 to 5 years? So that's a priority for our department right now. The last slide, these are some of the events and partnerships that we're looking to develop. Recently, November 18th, I participated in a career fair with LIU. I met quite a few students that have an interest in coming to the district. They'll be finishing their studies December and June. Also on December 16th, I'll be meeting with the Dean of LIU, Dr. Sylvia Blake, to discuss some of the staffing needs that we have as a district to get a ball rolling before the recruitment push in the spring and summer. We're also developing a recruitment video that will hopefully have staff, students, and parents showcasing the great things that are happening in Mount Vernon and to bring staff here to make sure that they know that we're trying to improve things and to keep the interest alive. Mercy University, I'm talking with Dr. Janet Rivera. She has 3 school psychologists that are interested in doing their clinical hours here, and also 12 student teachers in the future. Lehman College will be having a career fair as well as Manhattanville in the next few months, and I'm speaking with Ms. Doreen McQueen from the Mount Vernon Public Library to start local career fairs starting in January to make sure that the community knows there is an interest in local talent to fill certain roles. And I know there was an employee engagement survey done in the summer. We're trying to also have one mid-year to gauge if there has been any changes and to see how we can make any improvements if necessary. We're also exploring other platforms to showcase our opportunities, LinkedIn, Idealist, and other platforms that are more cost-effective than the regular ones that you've seen. So that was just a brief overview of some of the things that we're working on Office of Human Resources, and that concludes my presentation for right now.
Thank you, Ms. Graves. Do we have any questions? Trustee Brown?
Hi, good evening. Thank you for your presentation. I'm sorry. So sorry. Spicy up here today. Thank you for your presentation.
No problem.
And I just had one question on the slide with the record of absences.
Yes.
You showed there was a number in parentheses and a number underneath. Can you explain that? a little
Yes,
bit? Thank you.
sure. The number right next to the title, that specifies the number of employees in that title. So at custodial staff, there's 114. And then the number underneath, right underneath that shows the number of personal and sick days from July 1st until November 7th.
So those were the total days taken.
Total days taken
Out of
as,
the 114,
right, from,
722 calendar days were used.
yeah, right, from July 1st till the
July
7th.
1st to November.
Right, correct. Yes.
Trustee Peterson.
And just that I had a question, concerns about that page as well. There was no summer school this past summer, correct? Students didn't have summer school? No, there was no summer school,
No, just for
Just-
credit recovery for the high school.
just for credit recovery for the high school, so, and I
And
do believe some of our special education
ESY,
students.
yes,
yeah,
ESY.
ESY. So, majority of the staff, they weren't working this summer from July 1st to August. And then school starts, September 8th, and this is to November 7th.
Right.
So that's not really more than, let's say, I don't know, 50 days. We'll say 50, 55 days. So between then, with very limited summer school going on, to me, I feel like the number that the personal and sick days, that is pretty alarming. It's high. It's very high. Are we?
2.7 per person.
Yeah, that's why I calculated. Yeah, I did it round two. Good. You know, that's my research buddy over there. So are we finding out why these numbers are so? I mean, I know we have teachers. You know, there are several staff that don't have contracts, and sometimes that can be a reason why they tend not to use their time off. But this is really high. This is really high. And to know that we didn't really have much summer school, and to November 7th, there were only maybe 50, 60 the most days of school, if that. Like, these numbers are bad.
I admit the numbers are higher than we would like to see at this time, but I know for sick days, there's allowances for family and yourself.
I was going to ask,
So-
are like FMLA included in
FMLA
these?
is included in
Okay,
that.
so that's,
so
so that
sometimes,
makes,
sorry, go ahead.
no, because I was thinking about that as well. So,
And sometimes people are out for weeks at a time, so that would make the number a little higher than expected.
okay. Thank you, Ms. Graves.
Trustee McDonough, did you have a question?
Just quickly, if you know, how does this compare to the same period last year and the year before that?
I can get that data for you. I don't have it right
Yeah,
now.
I'm curious
but
about
I'll
the
get
trend
it-
across time. That's
yeah,
what
I can get it to you.
Okay.
Trustee Adoro?
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. Honestly, thank you for this presentation. I actually appreciate that you actually brought this presentation because honestly, this talk has been talked around students a lot, and we can have, well, I may be the student trustee, but we can have students without any of these staff members, custodians, administrators, security guards. We can't have any of them without, especially teachers. We can't have any of them unless we can't have students without them. And honestly, I appreciate that. So I want to say thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. I would, any other questions before Trustee Scott?
Thank you for your presentation. I was thinking the same like everyone else was thinking, but for me, when I see this, based on other work that I do, I always like to put this into dollars and how much all of these absences equate to money in terms of paying out. Plus, I also remember something that Dr. Joseph was trying to, I guess, explain at the last meeting in regards to savings or something like that. So I would love to see how all of this comes together in terms of what he was trying to convey and what this equates to in terms of dollars. So I guess I can send my email or question of what I want to you and to everyone so that I can at least see what that looks like.
Definitely. I'll look out for your email. Absolutely.
If you could just direct your email to,
No,
yeah, you know, got it. You're gonna get, it's definitely gonna get to her. Do we have any other questions? I have a couple of, I don't, questions, comments more so. Is it possible to disaggregate the data by FMLA, by personal days, by sick time, and also provide us with percentages and maybe even a bar graph or a pie graph so that we can understand even for each individual area,
Okay.
so that we can kind of get a handle on where some of the trouble areas may be, and also historical perspective in terms of what that looks like. I
Absolutely.
think that might be helpful for the group.
Per school.
Would you agree? Per school? That might be, yeah, well, I don't know if we want to drill down that deep yet, but we definitely need to at least get an overall picture for the district. Okay, if we
Okay.
can. Thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much for your presentation. We're gonna move on to comments from the board. Do we have, I'd like to, for each board member, if they have anything they need to address, if we can do that at this time. Trustee Adoro, would you like to begin, or would you like me to start with Trustee Scott? Okay, Trustee Scott, you're up.
Currently, I do not have anything to present, but we do have a technology meeting coming up in 2 weeks, I believe. So I hope to be able to present after that meeting.
Great, thank you. Trustee Brown?
So we will have our second facilities health and safety meeting, and a component of that meeting is a wellness committee. It's a subcommittee, and so if you would like to join that committee, you can email Rita, our district clerk, if you are interested in joining that subcommittee. I do have we have done some walkthroughs of some buildings, and we are scheduled to do 2 more in 2 days, on Thursday. So we'll be conducting those, and will by the end of this year, we would have hit 50% of our school buildings with our building walkthroughs. And then after the holidays, we'll get back to doing them. We want to try to wrap those up between January, February, maybe early Marchish, just so that all the buildings have been addressed. And so I will give a full committee report at the next meeting.
Do we have a date for your committee meeting?
Yes, it is the second Wednesday of the month, or is it the third? Randy, second or third? Thank you. I have a lot of dates in my head.
Because mine is the 18th, so yours is the 11th.
So it's the second Wednesday of
So
every month.
technology is December 18th, and
Health and safety, facilities and wellness is
December
on the
10th?
December 11th.
December 11th. Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
at 12 p.m.
Okay. Trustee Peterson?
Good evening. So 2 things. Last night, we had our family and community engagement meeting, and Ms. Hillary Fleming went over the the programs for after school that will be coming up, starting for the district. And she did a great job going through each one. People asked what they were going to entail, and she covered that. I had a hard stop at 7 o'clock, so I couldn't finish off the meeting. And I do believe our next meeting is Tuesday, January 6th at 6:30. So we had that, and then tomorrow for all the parents, everyone listening and watching, tomorrow at Graham School, Wednesday, December 3rd, from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., we will be having our conversation with our state monitor, Dr. Kimberly Young-Wilkins, at Graham School. So please come on out tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock p.m. at Graham School to have our intimate, cozy conversation with our state monitor, please. Thank you.
Okay. Trustee Scott?
Just wanted to make a correction. The next technology meeting is December 17th, and the next wellness, health, building, facilities, all of that is the 10th.
Got it. Thank you. Trustee McDonough?
The budget committee had its inaugural meeting, but I think I'm going to wait until the business meeting when Dr. Strickland is here to review that in case he has anything to comment. The IDA has a meeting next Thursday, and I don't know if they'll have any comment on that resolution we passed. If they do, I'll bring it up at the board meeting, the business meeting.
We will be passing on that resolution for the IDA to our NISBA advocacy group. We've already reached out to Danielle Grosso, and they will be submitting it for the itinerary for next year's conversation, but it happens throughout the year. So they will be adding that to the agenda. And we will also, during that process, we can maybe solicit some other school districts to join in with us on that particular issue. So just to let you know. And Trustee Adoro, if you have a comment, and then we'll.
Okay. I was looking into the building maintenance, or actually the structures of the buildings lately in different schools. And some may say it's not important per se, but take Mount Vernon STEAM Academy, for example. In our auditorium, it's technically this half made if you go into there. But that is last year I remembered some middle schoolers had their own graduation in there, even though it looked like that. So no, 5 or 10 years later, they're looking back at the picture. You're gonna say, "Wow, the school was much more bad." But the importance of the the building structure and how it looks is very. It takes, how's the word? It's hard to get the words right, but okay, you can go with curve appeal and aesthetics. But yes, and also the stuff really get broken down a lot. For example, elevators have been broken down for like 3 months already. Wait, 2 months already, and a lot of people that are injured have to work the stairs or they stay in the counselor's office when you're supposed to be in class. So we can rule that too. But so far, yeah, the maintenance of the building so far. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Our state monitor, Dr. Wilkins.
Thank you. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes.
First of all, I want to say thank you to the board for the work we did together in getting our plan out the door and approved. It was accepted by the commissioner. The letters went out yesterday. I sent something to the president and to Dr. Strickland and to the commissioner as well. The only thing she does now is just basically accept the report. So that's where we are. But the report the time is ticking away. So I have a couple of things I want to kind of just remind folks of the immediate impact of the report. Under talent on page 19, I'm going to always refer to the document. Immediately, HR department shall review the implementation of the annual professional performance review, which is APPR, and a multidimensional principal performance rubric. This is page 19, by the way, again, and performance evaluation program, PEP, to ensure compliance with all provisions of the contract. This is multi-year, but that starts immediately. Evidence of full adherence to all components of these 3 is to be initiated in a format approved by the monitor and shall be included in each district quarterly and each annual report. I have begun working with Ms. Graves in regards to making sure that there's a calendar to make sure that each of the benchmarks of anyone who's not tenured or just the evaluation is being done. And right now, she has a calendar that goes out like weekly to supervisors and building principals. So we're just going to kind of keep that going at this point. But that's one of your immediate action items of the plan. Under instructional transformation, page 22, immediately the district administration should establish an effective process for ensuring timely completion of annual IEP reviews. Director of Special Education or designee shall, by June 1st, establish timelines for finalizing annual reviews. Now, effective immediately, is the district should establish an operational process for ensuring timely completion of the annual reviews and provide monthly IEP reports to the monitor and superintendent in mutually agreed upon format. That's going to start as of January, because I really want to make sure that the IEPs are being done as per the law. in a timely manner. So that will be starting immediately. It's short time for December, and we have a big meeting happening in December. Then financial, page 34, effective immediately, a district budget development calendar shall be created. And you hit this benchmark. No later than December 1st, the budget calendar shall be reviewed by the superintendent and monitored and approved by the board. It was actually approved at the November work session, no, business section, the 25th. There's gonna be a change on there. You're supposed to get the report to me on the 20th. Dr. Joseph asked for it to be on the 25th. I have no problem with that. 25th, 24th, I'm gonna be looking at that. That thing's gonna go out the door to the commissioner. No problem with the date, so I'm fine with that. And then on page 35, under financial again, effective immediately, there will be treasury reports presented monthly to the board. And it should be by the assistant superintendent of business, not your treasurer. And that, you had the first one happen last month, and that has to be every month. It should not be happening. You have to have it. So that's moving. And finally, under turnaround leadership, beginning immediately, that's on page 15, all board meetings shall be conducted in strict accordance with the Roberts Rules of Order. Now, the documentation for this shall be collected every time legal counsel invokes the need to the board to follow Roberts Rules. So that will actually be done by your in-house legal counsel. The artifacts demonstrating the following shall be made accessible for review by the monitor. The annual training at the first board meeting on Robert's Rules, which actually be the July meeting, but we're actually going to do something in January just to get everyone's feet wet again when it comes to it, because you have already violated. The first two things that have come through, and then the last meeting and then one other meeting, I just want to remind everybody, in accordance to Robert's Rules, you should be waiting to be recognized by your chairperson. And you do that most of the times, but you need to be recognized by your chair and only your chair. And when you do get recognized by your chair, you should be speaking to the chair versus speaking to each other. The other part of that is then when you are talking and you're in debate, members do not cross-talk or talk directly to each other, as just stated. Discussion is kept on the issues, not personalities or other members' motives, and members listen when others are speaking. The grandstanding stops. And if it does happen again, I'm going to be working with your in-house counsel. That will be one of the first violations of the board moving forward today. So 3 strikes, you're out. You have 2 already. Third one, I will invoke the violations of the board immediately. So any questions on that? Oh, and just by the way, since you have 4 members missing, this would be repeated at the next meeting.
Thank you. Any questions?
Give a comment to the student trustee.
Student, okay.
The steam elevator at steam is fixed, just so you know. It's fixed, yes.
Great.
That was fast.
Great.
Snap your fingers.
Click the heels and everything. Hey, Oz.
Well, those are uncomfortable, I heard.
They are.
Okay. Thank you. We're gonna move on. We have an item on the table that we have a request from Mount Vernon High School to send our students to Panama. And so we would like to hear from the board your thoughts on sending our students abroad during this time. Does anyone have a comment? Would anyone like to comment? Trustee Adora, would you like to comment?
Can I get to go?
Sure.
Really?
That's if we decide to go.
Oh, okay. Okay. My bad.
Okay. Trustee Scott.
I guess for me, my only concern would be around the safety of our students and our professionals that are going because of what's happening around the world and in this country at this time. You know, so basically I would want to know what the safety plan is for the time that they're going to be there, locations of where they will be on every day that they're there, so that, as well as the health factors in case someone should happen to get sick or whatever the case may be, how that will be addressed while they're there. So I guess once I have more of that information, or responses from the folks that are planning this, then I can, say how I, would go with respect to this trip.
Right, the intent is to place this on the agenda for December 16th for vote, so we want to just kind of talk through it so we understand what the asks may be before we even get to that. So Trustee Brown?
So I would love to know, like, how many students are going? And those who are preparing this trip, would they be able to come in and give us like a presentation on this trip? I am an avid traveler, so saying no to traveling is not something I would say. But given the climate, like, what is that country score rating for Americans going to visit? Because each country will have a rating on if it's safe or moderate or extreme. So I would love to know that. Also, a health and safety plan, as the trustee mentioned. What is that? What would that look like if a child or a chaperone gets sick? What does that look like? I know there are a lot of additional travel insurances that that I would personally take myself, and is that included in what they're preparing for this trip? So those are the things that I would want to know. Again, I'm not saying no because I'd throw my hat in the ring to be a chaperone, but yes, would love to know that. Thank you.
Trustee Peterson?
So similar concerns that Trustee Brown has. And I know, because I told you guys I'm a nerd, I know that Panama and the U.S. Department of State, because I just watched a story the other night on the news that Panama is at a level 2 on the list, and it's an increase for crime and civil unrest. So I think those are things that we need to look into and really, me personally, I wouldn't feel comfortable sending my child, even on a school trip, to a country that's at level 2 right now. So I think that those are things that we have to consider as well.
Trustee McDonough?
Yeah, I agree with all of the concerns of my colleagues here. I will, and I understand the perspective of I think of legal counsel and the caution there, but on the flip side, the experience is kind of invaluable for kids, and sure, there's risk. But a little bit of risk isn't a bad thing, It's not an uncalculated risk. So I would just say that I certainly understand the caution and the instinct to protect, but I also think there's some value in kind of letting go and getting out there a little bit. So that's my thought right now.
Okay. Trustee Adoro?
So, as a student that also went on a trip to like North Carolina to compete and get an experience there, honestly, I'm all go for it. But at the same time, I understand the risks onto that. But we also got to consider it depends on specifically the students, and as in the students' discipline history. Also, if the student is prone to violence more sometimes, or in general, his grades and specifically other fields we can just look into. But yes, I'll just say that.
Okay. So there are some, I would like legal counsel to weigh in at this time, and then we can have further discussion if we need to.
Well, in reference to insurance, we've had a little bit of that discussion. That hasn't changed a lot, and I will save that for executive session. But to Trustee Scott's comment, I just want a little bit more clarification on what the ask is, so the principals or whoever is watching, if they can provide that information, great. If they can't, then they can't. So I heard you say safety plan. And so I'm trying to see what a safety plan looks like in the four corners. We have safety plan as far as liability, extended health, but are you looking for something else?
For me, definitely, which adults are going? Will we have security as part of the professionals that are going with them, right?
So let me stop you there. When you say security, are you referring to Mount Vernon security?
Yes, like Mount Vernon's security team, where a couple of the security staff can go on the trip and be those eyes in, about things. I don't know, just basically protecting the young folks as well as the,
That's what the adults are for, so the chaperones.
Yeah.
Look,
understand that.
I don't have any definition. I just wanted to hear your definition. So when I have that conversation,
Yeah.
that person, I don't want to preclude anything.
Well, based on what Trustee just said in regards to being a level 2, right? We may have teachers that are going, but they may not have the street sense or knowledge, the security sense, based on what to look for, like our security personnel may have. So making sure that in the group that goes, maybe there is a security personnel that goes with them. You know, those things like that, just seeing what they think is good in terms of the number of chaperones versus the number of students that are going, and how they have an itinerary. I would love to see what the itinerary be for each day, so that we know where our young people are, as well as our professionals are, on any given day at any given time. So if something should happen, at least we know.
All right, thank you for that clarification.
Also, being an avid traveler, having been to Panama, and having chaperoned students as a former teacher and a principal, I really would err on the side of caution. I'm comfortable with our students traveling domestically, but I'm really uncomfortable, especially in this climate, of having our children travel internationally, only because we don't know what's going on in those other countries. We don't know what security measures. Let's say they come back and there's a problem with somebody's passport or paperwork, because we can't verify whether or not their paperwork is in order or not. I really just have some concerns about, let's say if somebody gets injured, and it doesn't have to necessarily be because they were, acting out or doing something that they shouldn't have been doing, just a matter of somebody tripping on a rock, or, or slipping or falling, or something being wet. And, it could happen, of course, domestically as well, but international health care is very different than domestic health care, and trying to get somebody back to their family and back into the country. So I would have some real trepidation about this. So just to share my thoughts in terms of insurance, and not just for insurance for students, but just insurance for staff, because it doesn't, it leads from students into staff, right? So, and what cost could be attached to all of that. So I would have some serious concerns about it. Any other comments? Okay, all right. If you have any further comments, if you can direct them, and then we can pass them through, and so that we can have those questions answered for you, so that we can consider the vote on December 16th. Thank you. Okay, we are at Section 5, Human Resources. Are there any questions? 5.1, Human Resources, number 135A, Certified Sport and Extracurricular Activities. Any questions or comments?
We just lost connection, so one moment, it'll be on the screen. One moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
We keep losing.
Okay.
Any questions or comments?
Guys, I'm gonna-
Hearing none, we're gonna move to 6.1, Curriculum and Instruction, and we'll wait until our technician gets back to the monitor so that we can show it on the screen. Authorization to add mentor names to the Mount Vernon City School District Mentor Program for new teachers. Any questions on that? Hearing none, we'll move to 7, Student Personnel Services, approval of Student Personnel Services Memorandum Number 07 dated December 2nd, 2025, which is item 7.1. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, then we will move to item 8, which is authorization to send items to consent agenda, 8.1. May I have a vote?
Can I have a motion, please?
Questions?
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
9, may I have a motion to enter into, well, may I have the statement for executive session? And then if your desire, we would like to have a motion to enter into exec.
I'd like a motion to enter executive session for the purpose of discussing pending litigation, the financial history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment, employment, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation, and to receive legal advice on pending matter. Motion, please.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, any opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
We are now in executive session. We will not be returning. So thank you very much. Our next meeting is December the 16th. Public comment will be available on December 16th.